Matt just mentioned was the difference in the first half and the second half of the first game is feeling like things were a bit hurried. How do you address that so that you are able to be quick but also play with a little more ease as an offense?
I still think it comes down to us just doing our job. There was obviously a time crunch in the second half for us to, execute and get points on the board just because we were down. But, looking back on the tape and trying to learn from it, it just comes down to us doing our job and trying to focus on that and doing it at the highest level possible. So I think if we do that, that permeates throughout the team. Instead of the defense and special teams looking at us like, what's going on, we're kind of sending a message for everybody. We have a great defense, we have good special teams, so we just need to do our part and focus on that.
In some ways, it's this week easier after all. Getting all the questions about Cleveland really from the moment you left. Does this week kind of feel a little more normal?
In the terms of, distractions and, specific questions, yeah, it's more of the just get back into the routine. But I think that goes for week 2 of any year. The anticipation for leading up to week 1, depending on no matter who you're playing, there's going to be a ton of questions about everything that's happened throughout the offseason, all the changes, the schemes, the players, the new faces, staff, all of that. So it's just a matter of how do you handle it? How do you learn from week 1 to week 2? And it can be your biggest jump of the year, and you can learn from those mistakes. And the great teams, franchises do that. They improve, and they continue to push forward, realizing that there's a long season ahead and the world is not ending.
How much better do you feel like when you look at the 2 halves, how different they were when Christian became more involved in it? Because it seems the first half he never really got a chance. Yard distance, a lot of things contributed, but getting him involved, how important is that for this group?
Anytime you can get, your playmakers the ball, it's extremely critical. Obviously there's a few plays that, like I said, we were hurting ourselves, whether it was a block or me not catching the snap on a 3rd down, we have a great look, or just a holding penalty on a screen that it goes for a big chunk. Just little things that, everybody's is saying that Christian didn't touch the ball. Well, if we get some of those plays right, there's a huge difference. And so we're going to continue to try and get the ball in our playmakers' hands, especially him, and just see how the game flows.
A lot of this game is about how you react to a loss. What have you noticed about how you and your teammates respond to last week's defeat this week?
I think it still is the same message that I hit on after the game. Just disappointing because the preparation and everything that we did leading up to it was, I think, spot on. We just didn't go out and execute. Kind of laid an egg in the first half and fell behind. And when you play a team that rushes the ball like Cleveland, it's hard to come back. So the response has been exactly what we want. Everybody's been extremely critical of themselves. Leaders have put ownership on themselves, and also at the same time, guys aren't losing their heads. They're realizing that just go to work. That there's another day, play the next play, and come into work, fix the mistakes, and let's go get it.
Obviously, you're still getting timing down with everybody. How much can that fourth quarter, obviously a lot of it comes from practice and preseason, but how much can that fourth quarter carry you guys as an offense into week 2?
I think that's the potential for all of our guys to look at. Everybody just doing their job, realizing that even in some not so great looks, we were still able to execute our plays and do them at a high level. Like I said, it was 2 completely different teams from first half to second half. So just everybody do your job. Just focus in on that. Play the next play, no matter what's happened before that. Focus on doing your job and just carry that momentum, realizing that we can be a very good team, be confident in that, and go believe it.
Baker, with some of the batted balls at the line of scrimmage, what can you do as a quarterback to eliminate those?
Lay on an inverted table a little bit, stretch out, get taller. Thanks, Mom and Dad. It comes down to, like I said, finding windows. I know how those guys are preparing in that building. They see the footwork, they stop and get their hands up. And it's also just maybe being on the same page with our line, getting their hands down, finding windows, because every once in a while things are going to happen. I'm going to have to find a lane, and just finding a way to make it work.
You came into a situation in Cleveland where they lost a lot of games. Now this team, I know you only lost 1 here, but they've lost 8 in a row now. How do you, going back to that, what did you do there and what can you do here to help change that culture? And how difficult is it to get that winning mentality changed?
I think, to answer the question, it's you show up there, there's 1-31 the 2 years prior, here, whatever, 7 games, losing streak before that. You flush it. I wasn't a part of it. The whole team, it's a new system for us offensively. You flush it. You use the pain that everybody's gone through that has been here as motivation, and then I have to come in with confidence, get these guys to believe in it, be a great leader, and just get them to know that we're very capable of winning and winning a lot of games. And so it's just about focusing on the next thing. If you harp on the negative, it'll always creep back into your mind. So believe in yourself and focus on the next play.
Baker, you hear a lot about quarterbacks and skill position guys being on the same page. You mentioned the offensive line. How do you build that rapport with the guys, especially a new offensive line and you having limited time in the system so far?
Yeah, I mean, the offensive line is the most important part of a football team. And so just those guys, all 5 of them, it's the first time they're all playing together. And it was the first time for a game that mattered that they were playing together. So continuing the open line of communication, what looks we're going to see, how we're going to communicate that, and just making sure to over-communicate it. I think that's the most important part. And for me, I think it was BS how I wasn't settled in with my feet in the first half. I was kind of creating my own pressure, moving around and not trusting them. So the trust factor just has to be there because we go through the week of practice. We put the time in. We talk about it. We know what we're supposed to do. So just go out and execute it.
Is there a feel like Icky can do this well against this type of pressure, and you just kind of have to like be in it and kind of experience it together and learn in a way?
There's always learning curves about just getting a feel for how he plays, how the flow of the game goes. But right now, I mean, I have full trust in him. I completely believe in him. But it's just that's just how it goes. I have to have that trust and just expect it and go through my reads and just feel the rush and just trust those guys up front.
Baker, now that you've had time to look at the tape, how should that interception, the pass intended for Shi Smith, have played out?
I mean, like I said, just a small miscommunication. We've got to be better in our protection calls and me getting us lined up correctly. And then once we do that, getting Shi just to run the landmark that I'm expecting him to run on. But then also once I see him doing a certain thing, just put it on him. Okay. I mean, I'm an accurate quarterback, so it's if I see him doing one thing and he's wide open, just throw the damn ball to him.
Sure. Go ahead. Okay, so have you ever had a game where there's been 4 quarterback center exchanges that did not execute?
No, I have not. And then, like I said after the game, that was on me, and we'll get it fixed. So I'm not worried about that at all. We'll get that fixed.
Okay.
Asking about the Giants' defense, what do you see out of those guys, especially their front 7?
I mean, they play extremely hard. Their defensive coordinator, Wink Martindale, is a guy that I've faced multiple times a year for the past 4 years, so I'm familiar with his scheme and what he wants to do, but it's also different personnel there in New York. They're talented. I practiced against the Giants last year, played against them the year before, so some of the familiar faces. They just play really hard. Do they try and scheme you up with pressures and everything with their front 7 and give you different looks? Absolutely. They make it tough on you in preparation, but when it comes down to it, they're going to do what they do, try and heat you up and get you to make mistakes.
You don't got to give me a lot here, but I'm wondering, just in the one game you've seen with Wink in New York now, are they doing scheme-wise a lot of the similar stuff you wanted to do in Baltimore?
Similar. Yeah, similar. I mean, obviously, when you're in one place for so long, you're able to get those schemes down, and guys trust it and can disguise a different way. And it's just that just comes with being in the same system for a while. But yeah, it's scheme-wise, he's going to call what he wants to call, right. And those guys are learning it. That's why they picked up a few guys that are new on their defense. They're talented, they're stout up front, and like I said, they just play really hard.
Any more for Baker?
Thanks, guys.
All right,
Thanks, Baker.